There was a morning when nothing seemed wrong. The earth turned as it always had. The sun rose, the forest stirred, life moved forward, unaware. But far beyond the blue sky, beyond clouds, beyond sight, something irreversible had already begun. No sound warned the surface. No shadow crossed the land. No creature looked up. Every step taken that morning belonged to a world already marked for its end. There was a time when the earth breathed in silence. A time when no man called it home. The forests were seas of green, and the seas oceans of light. Life flourished everywhere, free, wild, ancient. It was the Cretaceous, a time of colossi, of creatures so large they seemed sculpted by the gods. On land, Triceratops roamed in herds under a sun that knew no winter. In the skies, enormous pterosaurs cut the air like living sails. In the seas, monsters with fins and teeth reigned over silent abysses. And among them, on land, the undisputed king, the Tyrannosaurus rex. 2 tons of muscle, claws, fangs, and an instinct as old as the earth. It was a world perfect in its ferocity. Every creature had a role, every heartbeat a meaning. Herbivores fed on the immense ferns and conifers that covered entire continents. The carnivores hunted at dawn when the light colored blood and dew. It was balance. It was life. It was pure power. Yet, even in that harmony, fate was unfolding. None of those beings knew that every step, every breath, every glance would be the last in a world. Above them, far away, in the darkness of space, something was changing. A fragment of rock born from the collision of ancient celestial bodies had begun a journey that lasted millions of years. It crossed the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, silent, invisible, inevitable, and the Earth, unaware, continued to rotate, cradled by its blue sky. The seasons passed slowly. Mountains grew, oceans shifted. It was a living planet but a vulnerable one. And in that immensity, a single grain of space was enough to change everything. That grain was coming, and no one could stop it. Under that blue sky, the earth seethed with energy. Volcanoes erupted in chains of fire. Rivers of lava carved new continents. Every tremor, every explosion was a breath from the planet. A world in constant flux, where life adapted, grew, and multiplied. Across the great northern plains and in the wide valleys at the foot of the mountains, herds of ankylosaurs advanced slowly, their bone armor glinting in the sunlight like living shields. Farther south, hadrosaurs crossed rivers, their calls echoing like ancient songs. In the swamps, small compsognaths moved in swift groups. Among the ferns, agile predators waited in silence. Forests bloomed with new plant species. Insects carried pollen between ancient flowers. The sky echoed with wings that had never known fear. Among the branches, primitive birds experimented with flight. The microraptor, dark-feathered and shining, glided through shafts of sunlight like liquid gold, and beneath the roots, tiny mammals lived in shadow alert, wary, unnoticed already, carrying a future they did not yet understand. It was a world of movement and voice, of birth and death, a fragile balance, suspended above an invisible abyss. That world was so perfect, only an apocalyptic end could match it. After millions of kilometers, the asteroid entered Earth's neighborhood. Gravity seized it. It accelerated. It passed the moon's orbit. Its path bent toward the atmosphere. Ahead of it, the air compressed and ignited. The surface glowed white-hot. From the ground, a growing streak appeared in the sky. Then it became fire. A blazing sphere hurtling at over 70,000 kilometers power. 10 kilometers wide, carrying more force than any weapon humanity would ever create. Its target, the Yucatan Peninsula in present-day Mexico. Below it, the dinosaurs were experiencing their last dawn. No one looked up. No one understood. The sky shifted color. Birds fell silent. Animals froze as if the planet itself were holding its breath. Then came light. A flash that erased the sun. A roar beyond sound. Time collapsed. The asteroid crossed the final kilometers in less than a heartbeat, and then it struck. The sea exploded upward, vaporized instantly. The impact released energy greater than 100 million megatons. The crust folded like sand. Rock melted. The sky ignited. Within thousands of kilometers, nothing survived. A shockwave raced across the globe. Forests vanished in flame. The air itself burned. A tsunami rose more than a kilometer high, scouring coastlines continents away. The planet became a scream, and still it wasn't over. Fragments of molten rock fell back from the sky, glowing like falling stars. At first scattered, then endless. Day and night merged into a single inferno. The forests vanished. Oceans boiled. The ground turned to glass. Temperatures soared beyond 1,000 degrees. Even stone flowed like wax. The giants fell overcome by heat, by suffocation, by silence. Earth trembled without pause. A crater 20 kilometers deep and 180 kilometers wide scarred the planet forever. The day turned black. Ash fell like snow-covering seas, mountains, and the open eyes of the fallen giants. It was the dust of the end. Yet even then, something endured. Deep underground, in rivers, burrows, and mud, small lives resisted. Insects, amphibians, mammals. Creatures no one had ever noticed. In that darkness, the future waited. Dust choked the sky for years. Sunlight faded. Temperatures plunged. Photosynthesis stopped. Plants died. Herbivores starved. Predators followed. The Tyrannosaurus rex wandered through dead forests. Triceratops collapsed in solitude. Even the ancient sea monsters vanished into silence, not all at once, but slowly, mercilessly, until the earth breathed only ash. And then time moved again. Years passed, decades. The dust settled. Light returned, pale and weak. Ice melted. Rain fell on scorched soil. Forgotten seeds awakened. Life returned. Fragile, stubborn, unstoppable. Moss crept over stone. Ferns rose among ruins. Insects returned. Then birds. Then mammals. Where giants once ruled, small creatures ran. The age of reptiles ended. The age of mammals began. The earth healed but never forgot. That day is written into stone, into fossils, into the ground beneath our feet. Every mountain we walk, every ancient rock we touch, carries the memory of when the world stopped. The extinction of the dinosaurs was not the end of life. It was the beginning of us. And one day perhaps our own age will end as well. The sky will darken. The world will change. But life will remain. Because life does not surrender. It transforms. It waits. It begins again.